Let's stand by the road. Cheers, boys. Go fight. Cheers, boys. Go fight.
Stand my neck! Stand my neck! Get better back! Go get me, big! Whoa, big, big,
Bills Mafia, Chiefs Kingdom, and anybody else who's watching this pregame, welcome in to Red, White, and Bills. And, 3 years in a row, play the Kansas City Chiefs. And obviously this is the most anticipated and most exciting game in the entire NFL. You could argue for the entire season before playoffs. And most of that comes from the incredible game that we played last year in the divisional round where the Chiefs came from behind with 13 seconds left and won an incredible game. And, of course, that's a shitty feeling, but we move forward from that. And now you're in week 6, already playing them again. And I've seen people say, it doesn't matter if we lose because we can still get the 1 seed and blah, blah, blah. But I don't like that narrative that regular season doesn't matter because it very much does matter because seeding matters. And with football being a week-to-week league, I mean, even last year, we beat the Chiefs last year, and then we didn't get the 1 seed, but that was on our own doing. There was a couple games where we lost that game where we shouldn't have, like the Jags game where you can't lose the Jags game, the Pittsburgh game. This year's a different Bills team, in my opinion, where we're not going to lose those games that we shouldn't lose. And, I mean, again, football is a week-to-week league, so you can never 100% know how it's going to turn out. But when I look at this game, this is the AFC Championship game right now. I'm not saying it's going to be the AFC Championship game in the playoffs, but you have to look at it as it is so because this is a team that we're drafting for. This is the team that we're getting free agents for. Why do you think Von Miller's here? So we could beat the Chiefs. We had a problem in this playoffs of keeping contained and sacking Mahomes. In the regular season, when we destroyed them by 3 scores, we had zero problem getting to the quarterback. We had zero problem keeping contained with our defensive ends, and they had no answer for us. And they turned the ball over. That's the other thing is like if in the divisional round, nobody turned the ball over, so it was a shootout. And, nobody even made a mistake, offensively. It was just Chiefs got the ball with 13 seconds left. That's all Mahomes needed. And then that also shows that this is going to be a game from start to finish where I'm like, it don't matter what the score is. It could be 40 to nothing. And then I'd be like, well, I don't care. They got Mahomes and, it don't matter till the clock reads 00. But this game is very important for a number of reasons. When you look at the 2 quarterbacks going against each other, these are the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I got to give the edge to Pat Mahomes, and not because Josh Allen skill level isn't on his level, but, you got to look at what they've accomplished so far. Mahomes went to 4 AFC championships in a row. Mahomes got a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, even though he didn't deserve the Super Bowl MVP. We all know Williams deserved it because he was running the crap out of the ball. But anyway, and he's got regular season MVP. So he's got all the hardware. Talent-wise, they're the same. These are the 2 best in the game. So, but the edge goes to Mahomes. He's got the hardware. And, everybody knows that. Like, nobody's denying Josh's ability to throw the football, to run the football, to make plays, to have, to drive his team to victory. That's all well documented. And if you don't believe that he's up there with Mahomes, then it's just like you don't even know how to talk to people like that. But Mahomes is above him. And games like this, where Josh is 1-3 against Mahomes. Granted, that playoff game wasn't his L, but overall, I mean, the wins and losses go to the quarterback. Whether people agree with it or not. But I mean, 1-3, you win in the regular season, you're 2-3, and then if you play them again in the playoffs, you can even that out. And then if you go in the Super Bowl, then it's now we're really going to talk like, oh, Allen's got the Super Bowl, Mahomes got the Super Bowl, they're evenly 3-3 against each other. Allen's got a Super Bowl MVP if he gets it. If we have the privilege to go that far. So regardless, these 2 are the best in the game. As good as our defense is, we're always we've been a top 3 unit for the last few years. They're going to score points, and I'll argue that even the Chiefs are better without Tyreek Hill. And the only thing the main thing that sucks about that is they got 5 draft picks for Tyreek Hill, so they're already better without him. And then now they got 5 more draft picks. But I will say this will be a game where we're really going to see if they miss Tyreek Hill, because we're not the Raiders. We don't have a defense like the Raiders where we're going to play man coverage and then leave people wide open. We're gonna stick to our roots. We're going to stick to our zone. We're going to get pressure with 4, and then we're going to see how they respond with that. They're going to key in on Kelsey, and then other key players are going to have to step up, and I'm going to talk about a couple of those, or one of them, 2 of them actually, as we move on. But I just wanted to preface this with this. This is the game I circle, not only because they knocked us out of the playoffs the last 2 years, but it's like the most exciting game. I mean, yeah, we got the Packers next, but they're on the decline. But this is like, when we were growing up, I'm 27 years old. When we we're growing up, it's all Brady, it's all Rodgers, it's all Peyton Manning. And now I'm not comparing Mahomes and Allen to Brady and Manning, obviously, because that's a different story for a different day. But for kids, in our place back when we had Rodgers and Manning and Brady, this is what when you're playing outside. Oh, I'm going to be Josh Allen. I'm going to be Pat Mahomes, or I'm going to be Travis Kelce. I'm going to be Stephon Diggs. Like this is what kids talk about now. So I know it's not the primetime game, but this is a game that everybody's going to want to watch. And it may be a playoff game again. It all depends, but that's where the seeding matters. Like we could get the 1 seed, they can get the 2 seed, and then if we both keep winning, the next time we'll see each other is the AFC Championship game. So that's why seeding matters. So we got to see. We got to see how it turns out. But Arrowhead, I got a lot of respect for the Chiefs and and their players and Andy Reid. And it's nice to have a out of division rivalry like this. And it seems like it's been one-sided over the years, but this is going to be the year where we can make that. We have the pieces. We've been having the pieces, but then you add Von Miller to that, and then we gotten better with the offensive line coach. Our offensive line looks a little bit better. Our defensive line as a whole is a lot better. Our defense is a lot better. And then we got some rookies attributing to our offense success. And, it's very exciting. But we're going to dive into it. And we're going to start with the Chiefs, who to watch. Number 1, obviously, is Pat Mahomes. This guy he's a magician with the football. He's not as well of a runner as Lamar and Allen, but he can still do stuff with his feet. And this is why gap integrity is key when you're playing a guy like Pat Mahomes, because he'll look for that and then he'll just take off for 25 yards and then it'll piss you off. And you're like, damn, I got a 3rd down and 10. He'll scramble for 25 yards. But I mean, he's shown that he can get it done to whoever, just like Allen, like in the Chiefs game last year, Stephon Diggs was double teamed and bracketed the whole game. Gabe Davis went off for 4 touchdowns, 200 yards and 8 catches. So Pat Mahomes has also proven that he can go to anybody, even without Tyreek Hill. That was a big question mark for the Chiefs, right? Obviously, fair enough assessment. How are the Chiefs going to be without their world beater Tyreek Hill? And obviously they look a lot better than they have with him. So I know it's early, small sample size, but they're doing it in different ways. And then obviously you can go on about Pat Mahomes for an hour, but I'm going to move on to a key guy who I think, because Tyreek Hill is not there, and I think Kelsey's going to be bracketed pretty well, this is the guy that's going to have to step up for the Chiefs, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a big body receiver. He's got a good catch radius. He's just a good player. We've seen him in Pittsburgh, and with Pat Mahomes throwing the ball, it's even better than Big Ben, obviously. So Juju has been kind of quiet this year, more than I expected, but they've been getting it done with tight ends and running backs, in the receiving game too. So I expect, of course you can say McCole Hardman, but I think Juju is going to be the guy that's going to have to step up. And, it could be any one of those guys, but he's the guy that he's a true number 1 also. And people say he's the number 2, but I think Juju is a true number 1. So with Kelsey being bracketed, I got Juju being a key guy to watch for the Chiefs. Then, of course, next, the running backs. You got Isaiah Pacheco, who's come on the scene, late round pick, fast as anyone else out there in the football field. And, of course, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's also great in receiving, and he can break out a big run once in a while. We've been pretty good against the run so far, but again, this is a team that it can beat you one way and it'll stick with. A couple years ago when they came to Buffalo, they didn't really do too much passing wise. They beat us with the run with Helaire, So this is a game where I could see them if they're running the ball well and we can't stop them, they're going to keep doing it and then drop the passes in the red zone and score touchdowns, or show them you can stop the run, and then it'll fit into our game plan a little bit better. But our defense is better at stopping the run this year, so that's going to be a big challenge for us against the Chiefs. And then Bolton, the second year linebacker, he's a guy that when people I will say it now, I love Tremaine Edmonds. I've always been a supporter of him, but obviously I never played the position at a high level like NFL or college, but I know a lot about the linebacker position. I love the linebacker position. I played that, and Nick Bolton's kind of a guy that you would want in a linebacker position compared to Jermaine Edmonds. Quick note, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to make it my own, maybe this week or next week. I'm going to make my own video breaking down Jermaine Edmonds' season, because I've seen a lot of people say that he's been outstanding. He's having the best year of his career. And, he's made some great plays, but year 5, there's a standard that some people hold for players. Obviously he's a million times better than me, but from a fan's perspective watching, and it's not just me, there's people that don't even watch the Bills and they come watch a game with me or something. And the first thing they say is, who's number 49 who keeps screwing up there, who keeps doing this? I'm like, oh, well, it's great that you say that, because you don't even watch the Bills like that and you can notice it. But I'm going to get into Tremaine Edmonds. I've been trying to debate with people, on Buffalo Fanatics, a couple of people on there, they're pounding their chest saying that Edmonds is being outstanding. I'm hating on Edmonds. So I simply asked, if you want to come on my show, I'm not trying to gain clout on your channel. You want to come on my small channel, and then we can debate with me. I'll have this whole video laid out and we can talk about it. But I'm still waiting on that, but I might just do it anyway. But I might, get this game in there because he missed last week, and then I'll get the film out. But Nick Bolton, he's just a beast, man. He hits hard. He hits his holes properly. He sheds blocks well. He's a guy you got to watch out for, especially Josh Allen when he starts running the ball. He's a kind of guy that's gonna, he can match Allen in hit power, obviously. So he's a guy you got to watch out for. And then obviously Chris Jones, he's a stud on that defensive line who could wreck a game. You saw it in the Raiders game. Terrible call. I mean, it just seems like the Tua stuff kind of ruined the NFL right now. And I get protecting the quarterback, but I mean, even these quarterbacks, I mean, they think it's trash too. They're not gonna go tell the ref like, oh, please take that flag away. That's bullshit. I mean, I want another, I want that fumble on my record. Like, nobody's gonna, or Brady, I'm gonna take that L. Like, nobody wants that, So if a flag benefits them, they're just gonna roll with it. But I know deep down that they think it's crap and it's gotta get cleaned up. He's a guy that can wreck this game. And like I said, this is a game where one mistake can change the entire game. So Chris Jones is a guy you want to get away from all that, because he can definitely do that. Moving on to the Bills. It's like the same things every week for me almost with the Bills. The interior O-line, because of Chris Jones, you guys got to step up. And they did a pretty solid job last week against Pittsburgh. Excuse me. Again, busy week. I didn't get to break down the film for them, but they looked a lot better, and they gave Josh a lot of time. And, Cam Hayward ain't a slouch. He's a Hall of Famer in my eyes. He's one of the best out there. No TJ Watt, but this is going to be another big test for them, and I think they can rise to the occasion. And, of course, it's because we've been talking about him. Edmonds is back. He might be tasked with staying with Kelsey, and especially in the run game. These guys are fast. And what really frustrates me about Edmonds is, if you look at every other linebacker, he's the biggest, he's the tallest, he's the fastest. Well, maybe not. Devin White's probably faster, but one of the fastest. He got great reach. This guy's physically a physically gifted human being, and I expect so much from him. And I expect a lot from him this game, because a lot's going to fall on the defense this game, I believe. And he's going to be, if we're going to win, he's probably going to have to be a key to that, and obviously the secondary too, who we're going to talk about next. But Edmonds is going to be a big key in that, especially if they go with running the ball. And of course, the secondary again, no Micah Hyde, no Trey White, Jordan Poyer is questionable. He'll probably play, but Kyer Elam's had a great season so far. We've seen him get carved up last week, though. 13 targets, 10 catches. They didn't have slouch receivers either, but you already know that was the first thing they noticed when the Chiefs were watching the film from that week. We got to target this guy. And the thing I know about Elam is he's going to watch that film also, obviously, and then he's not going to make the same mistakes again. Will he get beat? Probably a few times, but I think he'll have a bounce-back game, and it'll be good. But with the secondary being banged up as it is, it's just always a thing to watch because you're watching these guys again. When Trey White comes back, Dane Jackson's going to be cornerback too. Elam's going to be fighting for reps. So this is why secondary is also always a key to watch, obviously until we're more healthy. And then my last one, Davis ? Knox ? Shakir ? Who's going to step up again? Because this is where Diggs is going to come into play, where he might not have the 10 catches, 100 yards, where he very, very much so could. But as we saw in the game last year, they decided to double Diggs and bracket him. And then Gabe Davis went off and they said, I want Gabe Davis to beat us. And, he did, but we didn't, obviously Mahomes came through and won the game for him. But, I was watching Keyshawn and Max Kellerman and all them, and they're like, Matt, Key, what would you do to stop the Bills if you were Spagnuolo? He's like, if I was Spagnuolo, I would double Diggs and make Gabe Davis beat me. What are you going to do? I'm just like, did you watch the game last year? Like this dude, this is, Bills fans knew about Gabe Davis, but this is the game where everyone started to know about Gabe Davis. And it's like, I don't think he even watched the game because that's what Spagnuolo did last year and it didn't work out for him. So, but now they know about Gabe Davis. We got Dawson Knox, Khalil Shakir's on the rise, Isaiah McKenzie. Someone else besides Diggs is going to have to step up in this game. So who's it going to be? Keys to victory for me, keep contained on Mahomes, get constant pressure. We saw how well that worked for us in the game of the regular season in week 5 last year when we won 38-20. Constant pressure, constant sacks, kept Mahomes in the pocket so he couldn't scramble, make those plays. And then we did the opposite of that in the playoffs for some reason. But that's my number 1 key to victory. Stop the run, number 2, because they looked like a good running team so far this season. And, yeah, we stopped Derrick Henry and had a lot of good games stopping the run. But, when you got a two-headed monster, one of them super fast, and then you mix one with speed, receiving, and power, it's going to be tough for any defense. So it's going to be a good test. Limit Jones, of course. Like I said, he's a guy that can change the game in one play. So he's a guy you got to limit. You're never going to completely take a guy like him out, but you got to limit what he does. And last but not least, red zone offense, red zone defense. The Chiefs are probably the best team in the red zone offensively, and we're probably one of the worst teams in the red zone offensively. And again, defense is going to have to step up in the red zone. We saw that Kelsey, 7 catches, 20 yards, and 4 touchdowns, all in the red zone. And I think 3 out of the 4 of them were wide open and nobody was even near them. So the red zone offense and defense for the Buffalo Bills is going to be key. We were 1 for 4 in the red zone last week against Pittsburgh, and we're better than that. And we got talent to score. And that's been a consistent problem over the years with Buffalo is red zone offense. So those are all my keys to victory. Those are my players to watch. And again, I'm going to have probably this week or next week, if, my wife and I both got school and business has been really crazy and busy. So that's awesome. I appreciate all the love and support in my business, but I'm going to try to get that video out. I've been wanting to do it. And again, I love Edmonds. I want the best for him. I think he could be a top linebacker in this league. And that's why I'm so critical. Obviously, he's never going to listen to my content. And I know I'm just a guy who loves to talk football and loves Buffalo Bills. But it needs to be talked about because this is his contract year. And there's plenty of linebackers out there who do the right thing constantly. You're never going to play a perfect game all the time. But there's just so many things. And we're going to get into that. And then let me know in the comments if you want to see it or if there's specific things that you've seen that you want me to touch in that video. And then, hopefully one of these guys from Buffalo Fanatics answers me and wants to jump on and try to debate me with it. I think that'd be really awesome. And again, I'm not trying to jump on their videos to get clout or anything. I'm genuinely curious. Like, I'm not the only one that sees what I'm seeing. And I want to see the other side of it. And is it just, they're talking about the great plays that he's made and they're overlooking the bad stuff that he does or what? That's why I'm just curious to know. And I want to prove my points. I don't want to just type it on a comment on one of their videos and then that be it. I want to be able to show someone. So Hopefully that works out awesome. I also have something else in the works. It's going to be a surprise for now. I'm just waiting for this guy to hit me back, and we're gonna get talking, and then hopefully we'll bring that out for you. But thank you guys for tuning in. This is a huge week for the Buffalo Bills. It's a huge week for the Kansas City Chiefs. Playoff implications for seeding. This is just, and we go into the bye next week. So do we want to go into the bye for 10 days with an L hanging over us? Or do we want to go in with a W, go into Arrowhead again, and then just loving life for 10 days, watching football, and then it's like, okay, now we're Sunday night at home against Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. But that's going to be a good matchup also. But until next time, go Bills.